Three most dangerous airplane landings. On a Myanmar Airlines flight in 2019, the plane lost its front wheels, so they were unable to land. The pilot had to do circles around the landing area to burn fuel so it would slow down the plane and make it easier to land. The plane landed with the rear wheels first, then the nose of the plane hit the ground. Everyone remembers Sully after his emergency landing on the Hudson River. Two geese collided with the engines of the plane to make them stop working, so the pilot had no choice but to try landing in the river, which he did successfully. At an airport in South Sudan, a plane carrying 43 people caught on fire after the wing collided with a car. What happened is the pilot couldn't see the runway because of the heavy fog, so he had to make a blind landing. But fortunately, all the passengers got off safely. The worst school punishments. In 2011, a teacher from Albuquerque called the police because a student burped in class. The boy was then taken to juvenile prison for testing. Christopher Baker, who was a 9-year-old student from Kentucky, was put in a duffel bag for misbehaving in class. The school claimed that he was in the therapy bag for almost 20 minutes. Due to the mother's claims, the teachers involved were fired. At a school in New Jersey, a student accidentally spilled water on the lunchroom floor. When the assistant principal saw the incident, she forced 16 students to eat their lunch on the floor for 10 days. When the parents found out, they sued the school, winning $500,000. Finally, a 5-year-old from Pennsylvania received a 10-day suspension for wanting to shoot her Hello Kitty bubble gun at another student. She said, "I'll shoot you, you shoot me, and we'll play together." After the teacher heard the conversation, she sent her to the principal's office. And even though she just had a bubble gun, she was suspended for a terroristic threat. The 5 most funny design fails. This sign says do not enter, but it also says entrance only, so I guess you can't go in or out. In this children's book, it says 5 bananas, but if you count them, there's actually 6. In this lady's bathroom, there's holes cut out in the stall so you could see if anybody's using it. In this bathroom, the paper towel dispenser's right over the sink, so when you go to get paper, it gets wet. Now before I show you the craziest one, I found this app that tells you your celebrity lookalike, and apparently I look like Marilyn Monroe. Just press a button on my profile to get it. Finally, this person thought they were doing a 4-mile run trail, but after they finished the 4 miles, they realized that it kept going. People who gained real-life superpowers after an accident. Jason Paget was a party animal who wasn't interested in mathematics at all, but one day at a party, he was hit in the head so hard that he got a concussion. The concussion caused him to become a mathematical genius. It made him learn fractal geometry, which he had never been taught before. When Derek Amato was 39 years old, he hit his head after diving into the swimming pool and was diagnosed with a concussion and 35% hearing loss. After that, Derek began to see black and white keys in his head, and out of nowhere, he began to play the piano like an expert. Ben McMahon was in a car accident in 2015 and fell into a coma for a week. When he woke up, he could speak perfect Chinese, even though he had only learned the basics as a child. Tony Caesarea was struck by lightning after making a call in a phone booth. Within a couple days, he was addicted to music, which he wasn't before. After trying a piano, he became a musical artist, composing his own music. How the most famous magic tricks were performed. The secret to the classic trick where a woman's cut in half by a saw is to use a box divided in 2 parts. The woman lies down in one box and fake feet come out the other box. To swallow the sword without getting hurt, the magicians place their head up to align their throat and stomach. This way the sword enters in a straight line and doesn't touch anything. The guillotine is one of the most dangerous and famous tricks out there. The secret so that nothing goes wrong is that the bottom of the guillotine has hidden compartments and blocks to stop the blade before it reaches the person's neck. To perform the trick where one magician lies with his back towards the wheels of a truck and the other magician drives over him, all the weight of the truck is on the opposite side of the magician, so he doesn't really feel that much pain. The 5 most unusual prisons. In Bolivia's San Pedro prison, each prisoner has to pay for their cell. Each one is between $1,000 and $1,500. And to get the money, they have to work. That's why the prison is full of restaurants and small markets. In Norway, there's an eco-friendly prison. Everything is recycled, solar panels are used, and most of the food is produced. The prison actually looks more like a summer camp because you could play tennis, swim, and go horseback riding. The Alcatraz prison was a small island in San Francisco. It's almost impossible to escape because you would have to go through concrete walls, the rocky coastline, and swim through the freezing cold water. In Cebu prison in the Philippines, prisoners dance as part of their exercise program, and there's actually a viral video where they dance to Michael Jackson's Thriller. Finally, there's a prison in Austria that holds prisoners who don't require maximum security. The prisoners even wear their own clothes, cook their own food, and live a fairly normal life. Here's how to survive a dog attack. First, you need to stay calm and still. The reason dogs attack is because they're afraid, and they've learned that offense is their best defense. So if you yell or make lots of motion, you'll cause their fear to increase and they'll be more aggressive. The second thing is to avoid eye contact. When you stare, it scares them, and again causes them to be more aggressive. The third thing is to avoid running because it'll trigger them to chase you. Now if you think it's gonna bite you, put a purse, jacket, or any object in between you and the dog. Then use it as a shield to prevent it from getting close to you. But if the bite's unavoidable, defend yourself with one of your forearms, and use your other arm to protect your face, throat, and stomach. Once the dog is calmed down, slowly back away without turning around. And finally, after the attack, go to the emergency room to check your injuries. The most respectful moments in sports. During a match, Cristiano Ronaldo broke a fan's nose from kicking the ball, but at the end of the match, he looked for the fan to check on him and also ended up giving him one of his shirts. Matthias Steiner, who was a weightlifter, was determined to win an Olympic gold medal after his wife passed away. During the 2008 Beijing Olympics, he ended up winning gold, and on the podium he posed with a medal and a picture of his wife. During a marathon where 2 brothers fighters were competing from Great Britain, one of them stopped near the end because he was too tired. His brother, who was a few meters behind him, took him by his arm and helped him cross the finish line in first place. School trips that went horribly wrong. On a trip for the Cub Scouts to a beach in San Diego, the parents got an embarrassing surprise when they realized the beach was a nude beach. After the awkward encounter, the parents quickly returned the boys. In Indiana, a chemistry teacher wanted to connect with his students, so he invited them to his house to drink and smoke, and then he took them to the club. Then on the way home, they were pulled over for speeding. The teacher was then fired from his job. Finally, in Washington, a father was taking his daughter on a school trip when another father recognized him from being on the Washington's most wanted list. After a struggle with the police, the man escaped. However, after negotiations, the man turned himself in the same night. Genius inventions that should exist everywhere. Some elevators in Asia have giant buttons on the floor that you can kick to mark what floor you're going to. This was designed to help people who are carrying things and can't press the buttons with their hands. There's a mall that lets you leave your dog in a safe spot while you shop. The spot has a security system so that only you can open them, as well as lighting and air conditioning. In the United States, there's a shoe store that lets you test the shoes on different surfaces. The test box includes gravel, asphalt, and even materials like Lego. Finally, there's restaurants that give you a controller with 3 buttons. The first button lets the waiters know when you're ready to order, the second is to let them know when you're ready to pay, and the third one is to cancel your order. The idea is to avoid the waiters from constantly asking you if you're ready to order. The biggest things ever stolen. A tank from the California Army was stolen by an unemployed plumber in 1995. The man destroyed everything in his path as the police chased him for 20 minutes. A beach in Jamaica was stolen in 2008. Police still don't know who did it, but they took sand that corresponds to 500 truckloads of sand. A World War II fighter plane was stolen by an Air Force commander. He restored it and sold it for over $300,000. This 3,000-pound bell was stolen from a Buddhist temple. The bell was only used for special occasions and was priceless to the monks, but it was sold for $500 a year later. And believe it or not, people in Mahatma village in India stole a mountain peak. They worked 11 hours a day to cut the rock. They stole it, then sold it so they could feed their families. 5 people who won the food lottery. This person got a massive fry the same size as the bag. This person got a strawberry the size of their palm. This person found a smaller grape in the grape that they were eating. This person got 4 chips linked together. Now before I tell you the craziest one about this Sour Patch Kid, I found this app that lets you prank your friends and family by changing their text messages. Just press the button on my profile to get it. Finally, this person found the King Sour Patch Kid. Secrets hotels don't want you to know. The free breakfast they offer isn't really free. The cost of the breakfast is included in the room's rate. The people who work in housekeeping only straighten the sheets and arrange the pillows. They only wash them if there's a visible stain. Booking a room is more expensive at night because that's when most people are looking for reservations. The ideal time to call the hotel is between 5 and 6 p.m. because at night they increase their prices because they know there's not many other options. Tipping the staff can give you a lot of benefits, such as deeper cleaning in your room, a special treatment, improvements in your room, and in general better service. 5-star hotels know your social status before you arrive and will give more attention to famous or wealthy people. And lastly, everything is negotiable. Hotels will always be open to negotiating a few things, so you stay and leave a high review. Places on Earth that no human has set foot on. This place is the Island of Snakes. It's in Brazil and is only visited by Brazilian military and some scientific researchers. You're not allowed to go there because there's 1 to 5 snakes everywhere you step. And the golden snake, which is one of the most dangerous snakes in the world, lives there. Grankar Punsum is a mountain located in the Kingdom of Bhutan. It's over 7,000 meters in the air and has never been touched by a human and never will. Because in 1994, climbing over 6,000 meters in the air was prohibited for religious reasons. And lastly, North Sentinel Island. The Indian government banned any contact with the island because of the aggressiveness from the people that live there. Recently, 2 fishermen decided to explore the island and they were killed by the people that live there. The luckiest people who survived the impossible. Satomi Yamaguchi is the only person recognized by the Japanese government to survive the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But unfortunately, he died at the age of 93 after complications from the radiation which he was exposed to. Eric Nurse was scuba diving when he found a cave 10 meters deep, which he didn't realize was the mouth of a great white shark. His head, shoulder, and arm were caught by the animal. After a 2-minute struggle, Eric stabbed the shark in the eye several times with a knife and it eventually let him go. Roy Sullivan was a US park ranger who was struck by lightning 7 times and survived. The first time he was struck in the foot, the second in his eyebrow, the third in his shoulder, and the fourth in the chest and stomach. 4 ways you've been secretly tricked by companies. In the list of ingredients on a product, manufacturers often use the scientific name of certain ingredients to confuse the customer. This way you don't quite understand if the ingredient is healthy or not. Limited time offers are a trick to create a sense of urgency so that you buy the product before the sale ends. But in reality, it's probably not a real offer or it may never end. Advertising agencies alter the photos of the products they're promoting in order to make them look more eye-catching. In most photos and commercials, they don't even use real food. They use glue for milk, car oil for syrup, and coffee bubbles are actually soap. Companies give a human character to an animal or object to get you to buy their product. It makes them look more adorable and it'll give you the confidence to buy it. Some examples are the Duracell bunny and the Fruit Loops toucan. Secret's flight attendants never tell passengers. Even if you ask for regular coffee, they'll give you decaf because they prefer you to sleep during the flights because it means less work for them. The water used for tea and coffee isn't the cleanest. It's the same as the water used for toilets as it's pumped from tanks that have probably never been cleaned. Locking yourself in the bathroom often isn't the best idea, because it's possible to open them from the outside, and if you're found to be suspicious of anything unusual, you'll be taken to the police when you land. Seat trays are one of the dirtiest things on an airplane, because although they clean the plane after all the passengers leave, they don't clean the trays because it would take too long. Oxygen masks don't provide as much air as you would think. They only provide 15 to 20 minutes, which is just enough time for the plane to land. The 5 coolest houses in the world. The transparent house is in Tokyo and consists of 3 floors with walls that are completely see-through. According to the people who built it, it was inspired by ancestors who lived in trees. In Hong Kong, there's a house that's 105 square meters with walls that move. Storage spaces unfold to create 24 individualized rooms. In Australia, there's a $700,000 house that's built on a turntable, and it makes a complete rotation every 30 minutes. In Malibu, California, there's the skateboard house. It's a house designed by a former world champion skateboarder, and the inside consists of a large skate park. Finally, we have the Hobbit house in Wales. It was created by a photographer who's a fan of the movie The Lord of the Rings. The cost was $5,200 and only natural materials were used. The most expensive things thrown away. J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, gave an interviewer one of her books. He thought it would be a flop, so he threw it in the trash. Today, the first edition of the copy sells for over $80,000. In England, one of the machines used by the British government to decipher secret messages during World War II was thrown into a recycling plant. The machine is valued at $10,000 and is considered one of the most important pieces of history in the world. A woman in the US took her 1976 Apple I computer to a recycling center. Not too long later, the owners of the center auctioned the computer for $200,000, but they're now trying to find the former owner to share the money with. James Howell lost 7,500 bitcoins in 2013 after losing the hard drive that he stored them on. At the time, one coin was $130, but today each coin is $40,000, meaning he lost over $300 million. 5 people who won the food lottery, part 12. This person got a banana the size of their forearm. This person got a lemon way bigger than their hand. This person found a pearl in the oyster that they were eating. This person grew a carrot that looks like a hand. Now before I tell you the craziest one about this gummy bear, I found this app that boosts your Snapchat and makes it look like this. Just press the button on my profile to get it. Finally, this person found a wizard in their pack of gummy bears. Cartoon houses that exist in real life. You can visit SpongeBob's house without having to dive into the sea. At the Nickelodeon Resort in Punta Cana, there's a very similar replica of the cartoon's house. And it even has a life-size version of Gary. The Flintstones house was also made in real life. It's located in California and costs $4 million. In Nevada, there's a life-size replica of the Simpsons house. To build a house with all the details from the cartoon, the production company 20th Century Fox spent $120,000. And they had the great idea to give it away in a competition. But in the end, the winner of the competition preferred $75,000 instead of the house. The dumbest lottery winners. After winning $1.3 million in the California lottery, Dennis Rossi filed for divorce from Thomas Rossi so she wouldn't have to share the money with him. Thomas decided to sue her for violating state law and he kept all the money. Michael Carroll won $14 million when he was just 19. After claiming he wouldn't spend the money on dumb things, he bought multiple luxury cars, mansions, and other expensive things. To this day, he lost all his money and works at a cookie factory. Jack Whitaker won $315 million in the US lottery. When he claimed it, he took it all in cash. However, thieves broke into his house and took millions of dollars. April Fool pranks that went way too far. The sales assistant at a store called her boss and told him that the store was being robbed and she was being threatened. Within a few minutes, police cars and helicopters surrounded the store. When she said it was an April Fool's prank, she was arrested and fired from her job. A lady was arrested after calling her daughter and saying she was shot at her home. The daughter called the police, but when 20 police officers arrived, they realized that no one was there and it was just a bad joke. On a radio station in England, the DJ decided to make a joke saying from the cliffs of Beachy Head, a ship very similar to the Titanic could be seen. Tons of people went to the cliff, causing a lot of traffic. A few days later, due to the traffic, a crack opened up the ground and it fell into the sea. Athletes who were caught cheating. In 2012, it was confirmed that cyclist Lance Armstrong had used drugs throughout his career to enhance his performance. He received a lifetime ban and got his 7 Tour de France victories taken away. Tom Brady demanded that the balls being used in a game between the Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts were to be slightly inflated to gain an advantage. Although they won 45-7, Brady was fined $4 million and banned for 4 games. Ben Johnson cheated to win the 100-meter dash in the 1988 Olympics. A prohibited anabolic steroid was detected in his samples, for which he was banned for 2 years. A few years later, he tested positive again and was banned for life. Finally, in the 1986 World Cup, in a game between Argentina and England, Diego Maradona scored a goal with his hand, and the referee counted it despite the evidence. The luckiest things found in storage units. A homeless couple looking for a couch bought a storage unit that had an old couch and a teddy bear for $10 because nobody else wanted it. But when they checked inside the bear, they found $300,000 in cash. A man from Long Island found a sports car in a storage unit that cost him $100. But that's not all. The car was from a James Bond movie and Elon Musk Musk offered him $1 million for it. A couple who bought a storage unit found a 16th century pirate treasure chest. The chest was full of Spanish coins and the whole thing sold for $500,000. An art enthusiast bid $15,000 for some paintings to resell. Among the pile of 200 paintings, 5 of them were masterpieces that had been lost and they were worth $2.5 million. Lucky discoveries that made people rich. A collector bought a painting and when he went to fix the frame, he realized that inside was a piece of paper. But it wasn't just any piece of paper. He found a copy of the United States Declaration of Independence. He bought the painting for $4, but the piece of paper is worth almost $1 million. A man whose hobby is to use a metal detector to search for treasure got really lucky. He found a strange greenish piece with a red engraving, then a chain, and finally a Celtic treasure, which is again worth close to $1 million. As the couple was packing to move to a new house, they found an Action comic book #1, dated 1938 in one of the boxes in their attic. Only 99 copies of this comic exist and each are sold for $1.5 million. The strangest things found on beaches. In 2016, thousands of snowballs were found on a beach in Siberia. It's said that they were formed from wind and cold weather. It's the first time something like this has ever happened and probably the last. If you've ever thought about sending a message in a bottle, somebody already did 101 years ago. A German fisherman found a message and actually managed to get it to the daughter of the sender. Although it looks like something out of a movie, a robotic hand was found on a beach near New York, and no one really knows where it came from. And if that one wasn't strange enough, a dinosaur bone was found on a beach in Washington. Scientists analyzed it and said it could be from a T-Rex or a Velociraptor, and it's estimated to be around 80 million years old. And finally, the creepiest one of all. Between 2007 and 2008, multiple feet were found still in shoes on the beaches in Canada. In total, 7 feet were found and there's still no explanation. 5 people who won the food lottery, part 11. This person found 2 fruit by the foots in one package. This person got a bun from McDonald's covered in seeds. This person got 9 pieces of cereal stuck together to make one big square. This person got an extra hot dog. And before I tell you the craziest one about this goldfish, I found this app that reads the lines on your palm and tells you what it means. Just press the button on my profile to get it. Finally, this person got a goldfish 3 times the size. 3 times animals took revenge on humans. A Russian hunter shot and wounded a Siberian tiger during his hunt. But the tiger didn't forget what had happened, and after a few hours found the place that he lived and waited for him. When he arrived, the tiger killed and ate him. A hunter shot a deer and thought it was dead, but the deer got up and attacked him with his antlers, resulting in 6 stitches to the head. In 2011, a group of hunters killed an elephant in India, but what they didn't expect is that the rest of the herd would take revenge. They destroyed 54 houses in the area, they hid during the day and destroyed everything around them at night. Mythical creatures people have seen in real life. For a long time, the giant squid was considered a mythical creature that whipped the boats of sailors. But thanks to the advance in science, in 2004 a giant squid was found in its natural habitat. In 1967, 2 explorers filmed the creature walking in a Californian forest, which to this day is suspected to be Bigfoot. The chupacabra is a mythical creature that supposedly sucks the blood out of cattle, but there's a farmer who claimed he killed it. Mermaids are described as enchanting creatures. It is said that through their singing they attract sailors. Many claim to have taken pictures with them, all the way from Mexico and Jamaica to the coast of some African countries. Animals you should never touch. The sting of the bolodan is so painful that it could cause nausea, vomiting, and even heart problems. People who have gotten stung by this ant say the same is similar to if you got shot by a bullet. The catmoth caterpillar looks really friendly, but I would recommend that you don't touch it, because through their hairs they release a poison that can cause vomiting, weakness, and shivering. The Japanese giant hornet is so dangerous that if you touch it, it could kill you. The venom from the stinger can destroy human tissues to the point where it makes you walk with difficulty. Another highly venomous animal is the blue-ringed octopus. If you see one of these, get away quickly, because even though they're small, its venom can result in nausea, respiratory and heart problems, or even death if you don't treat it within a few minutes. And finally, the box jellyfish has been called the most venomous creature in the world. Its venom kills so fast that there's nothing you can do about it. Secret places hidden in famous locations. In the Eiffel Tower, there's a small apartment built at the top that the designer built for himself. Visitors can buy a ticket to look through the window into his apartment. In London, you could find a secret base in a lamppost located in the famous Trafalgar Square, which is the smallest police station in the world. It was built during the Great Depression of 1929 to control the riots that occurred in the area. The Grand Central Terminal train station has a tennis court hidden in a small space called the Annex. It's been used as a recording studio and even an art gallery, and you could even visit it whenever you want. Andrew Gordon discovered a small hole with a key while exploring Pixar Studios. When he went inside, he found an empty spot and turned it into Lucky 7 Lounge, an area for employees to relax, have a drink, and get some rest. Secrets movie theaters don't want you to know. Movie theaters earn very little from ticket sales. That's why they decided to lower the cost of tickets and raise the cost of food, so the earnings would go entirely to the movie theater. Food combos won't always save you money. Sometimes it's just a strategy to make you think it's the best option. So next time check if it's better to buy a combo or buy the food separately. Sometimes there's people yelling at the cabin for the movie to start. But what they don't know is that the cabin is completely empty. Thanks to new technology, human assistance isn't needed. Movies will never start at the time the ticket says it will. This way they'll get more people to watch the ads before the movie. And if you ever thought you were cool sneaking into another movie than the one that you bought, the employees don't really care as long as there's seats available. 3 people who beat the system. After this person's landlord said they couldn't paint the walls in their apartment, they decided to get paint strips and cover the walls. This person's teacher won't let them eat in class, so they filled an empty lip balm with cheese so they could sneak it in. This person was only allowed to have a 1-page cheat sheet, so they wrote a whole page of notes in red pen, then another page in blue pen. Then they brought 3D glasses to class, so when they looked through the red side they could see the red pen, and when they looked through the blue side they could see the blue pen. 5 people who won the food lottery part 7. This person grew braided carrots in their garden. This person ordered a McDouble from McDonald's and got 3 patties instead of 2. This person got 4 Reese's peanut butter cups in a pack of 3. This person got a clump of cinnamon in their cereal, and this person got a giant clump of flamin' hot seasoning. Genius inventions that should exist everywhere. In Poland, this bike path was made using thousands of tiny luminophores, which is a material that produces low levels of light for 10 hours, then recharges itself from the sun. The bike path doesn't require electricity and provides safety for people biking at night. 20 different cities in France have already implemented this. It allows you to charge your phone by using pedal power. The goal of the company is to promote an active lifestyle while making sure your phone doesn't die. People who use the bike also get free Wi-Fi. The Cal Maritime Police Department in California has placed a safe zone outside which is watched by a camera 24/7. They made this zone so you don't have to worry about getting hurt or robbed while purchasing things from people in your city. The dumbest things bought by billionaires part 2. When a Hong Kong businessman inherited a 26-carat black diamond, he decided he wanted to keep it with him at all times. He got a craftsman to make him a custom iPhone 5 with the diamond mounted on the home button. The back of the phone is covered in 24-karat gold, the sides are layered with 653 white diamonds, and the screen is sapphire glass made with real sapphires, bringing the total cost of the phone to $15 million. 5 people who won the food lottery part 6. This person found a potato chip the same size as the bag. This person found a giant chip in their ice cream. This person found an extra large egg. This person's ice cream sandwich came with another half. And this person's pepper had peppers growing inside of it. 3 bizarre things found in pools. A lady was going down to the pool for a morning aerobics class when she seen a 5-foot crocodile in the pool. She phoned the rangers to come get it, and when they took it out, they noticed it had no markings on it, so it must have been a wild croc. In California, the police were chasing a car, but it was driving so crazy that they had to stop following it for safety reasons. The car was later found in someone's pool, but the driver was nowhere to be seen, so they think he ran away to avoid the charges. And lastly, one morning a family woke up to a hippo in their pool. The water went from crystal clear and clean to dark green and dirty. The father's a safari director, so he's used to seeing animals like that. They said the hippo stayed there for 10 days before it finally left. 5 places you should never swim. The boiling lake in Dominica is so dangerous that the magma underneath the surface makes the water so hot that you would be swimming in boiling water. Lake Karachay is one of the most toxic lakes on Earth, due to all the toxic waste that the Russian government introduced when toxic materials weren't as big of a problem. The Nile River is filled with crocodiles everywhere that could kill you, and if you manage to escape the crocodiles, you'll have snakes as a second problem. In the river and outside of it, you could probably find at least 15 venomous species. Jacob's Well is a lake located in Texas where you could dive really deep, but you have to be careful because there's caves below where people can get trapped. And lastly, Hanakape Beach has currents so strong that they even keep count of how many deaths there's been to scare people, and the number of people killed is 80. 5 people who won the food lottery part 5. This person got a grape with 8 of them fused together. This person opened their banana peel and found 2 of them in there. This person got a really big fry. This person got a really big Lucky Charm, and this person got a strawberry the size of their palm. Theme park rides that had to be shut down. On this roller coaster called the Dragon Challenge located at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, there were 2 tracks that at one point were very close together. Several riders got hurt over the years, so they destroyed it and closed it in 2017. The most serious injury on that ride was someone who lost their eye. On the catapult ride in Mount Olympus Water and Theme Park, you went up so fast in such a short amount of time that many people fainted. In 2015, when a child and woman were getting ready to take off, one of the cables snapped, so they closed the ride 2 days later. And finally, Son of the Beast is the world's tallest and fastest wooden roller coaster. It was closed in 2009 because 27 people had to go to the hospital for neck and chest injuries due to a broken beam. It later reopened, but head trauma was reported because of the violent motion from the roller coaster, so it was then shut down for good. 5 photos you'll have to look at twice. At first it looks like there's a giant pigeon, but it's actually just sitting on a ledge and the person's walking in the distance. At first it looks like there's a human dog, but the dog's actually sitting beside its owner. At first this looks like some weird looking cat, but it's actually just 2 cats laying in the exact same position on each side. At first it looks like this fish has an arm, but the fish just got too close to the camera. And finally, it looks like this person has a small head, but it's just the head from the person in front of them. 5 people who won the food lottery part 4. This person's watermelon had no seeds. This person got multiple strawberries fused to one. This person got a fry from Arby's shaped as a treble clef. This person got a triple kiwi, and this person found a really long marshmallow. 5 people who won the food lottery. When this person cracked an egg, a smaller one came out of it. This person found that in their pack of Skittles. This person got blueberries the size of a quarter. This person got a Kinder Egg with 2 layers of chocolate. And this person found 5 peanuts in one shell. The funniest ways people got revenge. When Mark's laptop was stolen from him, he hacked into it from his house and found an embarrassing video of the thief dancing in front of the camera. He then uploaded it to YouTube where it went viral and the thief saw it. So he returned the laptop begging for Mark to take the video down, but he didn't. When a girl found out her boyfriend had cheated on her, she asked him to get matching tattoos as a symbol of love, which he agreed to. But she left him without getting hers, leaving him with a tattoo to remind him of her. This guy was just doing his job painting over some graffiti, but I guess the people who painted it weren't too happy with him. They got revenge by painting him on the wall where he had just covered up. 5 people who won the food lottery. This pack usually comes with 12 cookies, but they got